heard of the Flame Keepers? No. That's because they erased us.
Who did?
The silo. They've been trying ever since the rebellion. That's when they put something in the water so memories would fade. What? They wanted to erase the past, and anyone who tried to preserve it.
Inside the long-term care facility on the medical level, Gloria Hildebrandt is standing in the center of her room, lost in a vivid and joyful hallucination of being on a beautiful sandy beach, just like the one depicted in the travel book. In her imagination, she holds a seashell in her hand while watching a father play with his young daughter on the beach. However, her fantasy is interrupted by the nurse, who enters the room to administer her medication. After examining the majestic images in her apartment, Juliet discovers the names Gloria, Anne, and George written in that order on a blank page inside the travel book. This leads her to believe that these are the three individuals who possessed the book at different points in time. Inside the janitorial room, Sims opens a secret door that reveals a staircase leading to the control room of the silo. Upon entering the room, Sims is informed about Juliet's activities and how she's now in possession of the travel book. Eager to learn more about her actions and motives, Sims instructs his employees to continue monitoring her movements, indicating that he's the one holding all the power within the silo. In her office, Juliet is still captivated by the contents of the travel book. Wanting to learn more about its previous owners, she searches for Gloria in the database and discovers that she's being held in a long-term care facility. Without wasting any time, Juliet heads to the medical level and makes her way to the facility. Upon learning that Gloria is being kept there under Judge Meadows' orders, she uses her authority as sheriff to persuade the nurse to let her enter Gloria's room. Inside, Juliet begins talking with Gloria, but the nurse informs her that she has dementia and is unable to communicate coherently. Despite this, Juliet remains skeptical and requests to take Gloria outside for a walk. However, the nurse adamantly refuses, citing Meadows' strict instructions that Gloria must not leave her room. Frustrated by the situation, Juliet makes her way to the judicial level to speak with Meadows. However, she's informed by the judge's assistant that Meadows is at home and she's not feeling well. Undeterred, Juliet decides to visit the judge at her apartment. While walking through the silo, Juliet passes by the cafeteria and spots Lucas sitting there, gazing at the night sky as he often does. She decides to join him for a moment and strikes up a conversation, asking about his job. Lucas responds that he works as a systems analyst in the IT department. During their conversation, Lucas notices that Juliet seems to be enjoying his company and decides to lean in to kiss her. For a brief moment, Juliet wants to kiss him back, but resists the urge and pulls away, making Lucas feel like he made a mistake. He sincerely apologizes, and she nervously reassures him that it's okay, after which she hurriedly leaves. Before heading to Meadows' apartment, Juliet is summoned to Bernard's office. Upon her arrival, he informs her that he's worried Meadows might decide to hijack all of his servers that control the silo, which would give her a tremendous amount of power over the citizens. In response, Juliet reveals that she's trying to uncover something important that could give them leverage over Meadows. Understanding this, Bernard urges her to act quickly, warning her that if Meadows manages to get rid of her before she uncovers the information, they will be powerless to stop her. Later that evening, Juliet arrives at Meadows' apartment. Once inside, she quickly notices that the apartment is rather luxurious and is filled with many relics that Meadows has collected over the years. When asked why she's there, Juliet pleads with Meadows to stop drugging Gloria, as she doesn't believe that she has dementia. However, Meadows tearfully reveals that she doesn't have the power to lift the medical order and that they will never let Juliet get what she wants. Shocked but also frustrated by this revelation, Juliet confronts Meadows, accusing her of allowing whoever they are to do whatever they want as long as she gets to keep her fancy apartment and relics. Feeling like she's running out of options, Juliet heads to her father's apartment and asks him to use his authority as a doctor to enter the long-term care facility and somehow get Gloria out. Wanting to help his daughter, Pete heads to the facility and puts the disoriented Gloria in a wheelchair before sneaking her out of the facility and into the nursery. Realizing that Gloria is heavily drugged, Juliet convinces her father to give her another medication that will counteract the effects of the drugs inside Gloria's system. After being injected with the new medication, Gloria eventually becomes clear-headed and free from the effects of the previous drugs. However, she starts to panic as she recognizes Pete's face. She starts screaming that he's the one who prevented her from having a baby. This leads Juliet to quickly intervene by ushering him out of the room. Now that they're alone, Juliet tries to calm Gloria down by reaching into her bag and pulling out the travel book. Gloria's eyes light up as she sees the book again. After Juliet explains how she obtained the book, Gloria reveals that she had given it to George's mother, Anne, who must have passed it on to him. Gloria continues by saying that she was part of a group of rebels called the Flame Keepers, who fought against the rules of the silo and possessed relics as reminders of the outside world. She reveals that something was put in the water to make their memories fade. Additionally, suspected members of the group were prevented from reproducing by having the doctors pretend to remove their birth control implants, while the devices were still left inside their bodies. Gloria also tells Juliet that Juliet's mother Hannah was admired by the Flame Keepers due to her curiosity and willingness to question authority, and that they were all devastated when they heard she had taken her own life. After her revealing conversation with Gloria, Juliet confronts her father in disbelief, questioning how he could do such a thing to his patients. In his own defense, Pete explains that Judicial forced him to comply, telling him that it was for the greater good of the silo, as they wanted to put an end to a genetic disease that some women carried. Despite his explanation, Juliet is left disappointed with her father's actions and decides to take Gloria back to the facility. Back inside her room, Gloria reveals to Juliet that Holston used to visit her before he went out to clean. During one of his visits, he even brought her a vase full of flowers and placed it in front of the mirror. However, when Gloria looks for the flowers, she notices they are no longer there. This causes Juliet to take a moment to reflect, eventually realizing that the note Holston left her, which read, "Double the flowers in front of the mirror," was a secret message, warning her that they were being watched through the mirrors and instructing her to block their view with flowers. After this realization, Juliet quickly covers the mirror with a blanket to prevent Judicial seeing her. Gloria then reveals that Holston didn't talk much during his visits, but instead spent most of his time fiddling with the air vent. Intrigued, Juliet investigates the vent and discovers a small bag that Holston hid inside. When she opens the bag, she finds George's hard drive. Meanwhile, in the control room, Sims is furious that he can no longer see Juliet. Angered, he orders his team to dispatch a raiding squad to capture her. However, by the time the raiders arrive, Juliet has already made her escape.